All right, theoretically, we are streaming. Welcome to the first BOD meeting of Reign 4. I'm going to call this meeting to order right at 7 o'clock. Let us take a quick attendance. Astro Winds, Jason Foltz, are you here?
Present.
Ravenstone, Sean Fitzpatrick.
Present.
Lupin Moon, April Hayes Hart.
Present.
Frozen Coast, J.M. Revis.
Revis and present.
Revis, got it. And KPM, Jason Cavanis.
Yeah, I'm here.
And I am here and present. Excellent.
Dark Lodge Crossing present too.
They are not a part of the BOD.
Got it.
All right, to start us
Is there
off,
X-Con here?
he is not here at the moment.
So he is actually part of the attendance, so if he's not here, I'll just have to mark him as not here.
Oh, there he is. Chris Start, are you here?
Hi, I was checking the YouTube stream first for you guys.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, so everyone's here. So let's get started. First item up on the agenda, which I copied and pasted into the peanut gallery a bit ago, is we do have some vacant positions, and during the summit we did briefly discuss those. And our open positions are the vice president and our liaison. As just to recap, by default, I am the president and Jason Cavanis is the secretary treasurer. During those conversations, J.M. Revis volunteered to take on the vice president's position. Does anyone want to discuss this further?
I'm good with voting.
All right, then I will make a motion to appoint J.M. Revis into the vice president spot.
I will second that.
And my dog seconded that as well. So top to bottom, Jason Foltz, vote.
I agree.
Sean Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
April Hayes Hart.
Affirmative.
J.M. Revis.
Yes.
Jason Cavanis.
Yes.
And I vote yes, so that is unanimous. J.M. Revis will be our vice president. The next open position is our liaison. As we discussed, this is a person that can be contacted or contacts our outside vendors, like our insurance company, etc. if it gets used. And during our discussion, April Hayes Hart volunteered to take into that liaison spot. Was there any further discussion for that?
No.
All right, then I will make a motion to appoint April Hayes Hart into the liaison spot.
I second this motion.
And then going from top to bottom, Jason Foltz.
Yes.
Sean Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
April Hayes Hart.
Sure.
J.M. Revis.
Yes.
Jason Cavanis.
Yes.
And I vote yes to make that unanimous. All right, we are locked and loaded with our BOD positions. So the next item up for discussion is, so normally the outgoing Kingdom Monarch gets to get rid of this last bit of attachment to being a Kingdom Monarch, other than being the ex officio. Due to the nature of the situation in the Kingdom Monarch and Kingdom Prime Minister positions, I did discuss with Chris and as well as the new BOD, is that I would like to keep Chris on the bank account for another 6 months. I know this is out of our norm. However, I would like Chris to act as a third neutral party, considering that Jason and I are a married couple and are in the same household. This is just a pure transparency level. If anyone ever questions the accounts, I want Chris to be able to come in and verify and validate anything that might come to question. Does anyone have any further discussion with this?
I just want to point out also, it's if there's an emergency that happens and that puts one of us out, it probably puts both of us out. So it also is good for if something happens to us and we're not able to operate on AmGuard's behalf.
Yes, excellent point.
I think it's a wonderful idea. I think accountability is definitely something that we should be striving to uphold. So having Chris on the account is a good idea by me.
No disagreements here.
Likewise over here.
All right.
I'm going to make a motion to approve that.
I will second that motion.
Excellent. Then we will go from top to bottom. Jason Foltz, how do you vote?
Vote yay.
Sean Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
April Hayes Hart.
Affirmative.
J.M. Revis.
Yes.
Jason Cavanis.
Yes.
And I will vote yes. Chris, congratulations. You're still stuck with us for another 6 months. And with that, on the next topic is adding me, Stephanie Cavanis, to the bank account. Any discussion regarding that?
I mean, I believe it's proper for our monarch to have access to the bank account. So there's no negatives for me, ma'am.
Likewise.
I don't give her access to money. That's a no for me.
Roll it.
Making a motion to approve Queen's Eye Jen or add her to the bank account.
I'll second that.
Alrighty then, from top to bottom. Jason Foltz.
Yes.
Sean Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
April Hayes Hart. J.M. Revis.
Yes.
Jason Cavanis.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Alrighty then, the next item up for bid, we're not at an auction, is that Jonathan Jacob, aka Kraken, I believe asked Chris Nalarian about this prior to him leaving office. He was asking if we could allow him to sell Northreach type items, such as like he made a Lupin Moon cookie cutter on his Etsy shop with his 3D printing. Chris, can you talk a little bit about that? I believe you had the main conversation.
You pretty much said the extent of the conversation. Somebody pointed out that he was selling stuff, and I was like, oh, hey, we should probably run that through the BOD. And then he was like, oh, can I do this? And I was like, we should have that as a full BOD discussion and not, 2 days before I hand off to somebody else.
Okay, so there you go. Does anyone have an opinion or advice or discussion about allowing him to sell these items on his Etsy shop?
Respectfully, as long as it's not a like an official associated with the park thing, I think most of what he's making falls underneath of artistic license. So no problem here for me, because there's not really a problem to be had from what I can see.
I can get behind that.
Are there any trademark issues we'd need to worry about?
I believe that so long as he avoids using the word Amped Guard, or the official logo that they have made as AIBOD, if they have actually brought that in. But I believe that actual word Amped Guard, none of our park names or anything like that are actually underneath of like a do not do this thing.
So they actually are, as
They
far
are?
as I'm aware, because we have a business license, and in our bylaws, we reserve the rights for those names, if I remember reading that correctly.
Just learn something new every day.
I'd have to pull it up and double check, but
Well, even if so, I don't particularly see a problem with allowing him to do the thing.
Corin just said it's admin manual section 16.
Sweet. So long as we don't give him the sole rights to create Northreach/park things, and it's kind of like, hey, people can make these things. It's sort of the same as people selling like park themed belt favors, is what I believe.
I was just about to make that exact same comparison.
So then I guess the motion would be to grant him a license to do this.
So I think I say I don't know what the thing with the belt favors are, because most of the belt favors that we've made have actually been given out. So I don't know if we do we have a history of selling belt favors with our parks logos on them?
I mean, I believe so. Again, with my absence having been a little bit a couple of years behind, but I did hear about people selling park themed favors before. But again, I may be mistaken.
Corin is saying grant him a non-exclusive royalty-free license.
Gideon has brought up a point here. He said he'd expect to pay a licensing fee of some sort if I wanted to make and sell stuff with official logos and such. Colors are one thing, but if he were to toss the Ravenstone shield, he as a vendor would expect to have to pay some sort of license or permission. Again, I personally am fine with a non-exclusive royalty-free license as long as everyone in Northreach is granted the same.
Also that the license be revocable by the BOD.
I agree.
So the suggestion on the table then is not specific to Kraken, just having an open license to use these. That's approved by the BOD and could be revoked at any time by the BOD.
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it, I think.
Okay, so if that is that the motion then?
Move to grant Kraken a non-exclusive license revocable by the BOD.
I'll second that.
for the purpose of creating Northreach related garb and similar objects using the icons of the different parks.
I will still second that with the added verbiage.
Okay, I think I have that written down. So just to make sure I got this typed correctly before we go to the vote, we are moving to grant Jonathan Jacobs, aka Kraken, a non-exclusive license revocable by the BOD for the purpose of creating Northreach garb and similar icons of the parks.
Sounds about right.
Sounds good to me.
Alrighty then. Deli wants one of those licenses too. We'll get to that. Top to bottom then, Jason Foltz.
Agreed.
Sean Fitzpatrick.
Agreed.
April Hayes Hart.
Sure thing.
JM Revis.
Agreed.
Did you speak?
Agreed.
Okay, sorry. Jason Cavanis.
Yes.
And I agree as well, so that is done. Deli, were you serious? Do you want one as well?
Are we able just to do a blanket license?
I'd recommend writing up the forms, having it available and ready, and then each person that wants to craft and sell merchandise that would require the license, then each person enters in a thing. And maybe it's just an automated,
That sounds great. Well, I'll work on that this week, and we'll do it that way. So we're not here all night.
I'd be up for that.
Okay. We'll get to you, Deli. So we're not saying no, Deli. We're going to set it up so it's like an automated process that you fill it out and congratulations, you have one. Since we agreed we can do this. All right.
Just to add in with a license like this, the ability to revoke it is if people are making things that, paint Northreach or the parks in a bad light, it can be revoked, and that way people know we're not granting permission for these things that are, don't paint Amtgard in a proper light.
Or as Gideon pointed out, if a member gets suspended and has one of these licenses, we should revoke it, just in case.
I agree. Okay. As if there's no other discussion with that and we're pretty set on that, I will turn it over to Jason to talk about the land audits.
Okay. The part most people are interested in on this is I've already worked on the process of, and that's the attendance and what it means for each park. So the issue we've been talking about, it's kind of, and I think maybe not openly, but kind of in like small groups, is there's an issue that we have one park that is likely ready to be promoted, and we have another park that had previously had a review status and would likely not get another review. And so there's that issue in this new COVID era that we'd run across that problem. So I'm going to go over the numbers that we had for this this past rain, and this is going to be from February through early March. Some parks played on the 7-8 weekend, and others stopped after the 7-8 weekend, and others went to the next weekend. But this is average. That's not going to include that spot from March all the way through early June. So the averages for Astral Winds, the average attendance was 41.62. They were in the review status in the prior rain. This would put them in the promotion status for this rain. The average attendance for Frozen Coast was 21.36. This would put them in the pass status, so they'd still qualify for a barony. They also were in the pass status the prior rain. Icefire Bay was 14.64. That puts them in the pass status for a Shire. It requires 5 for a Shire and 15 for a barony. For Loop and Moon, it was 37.91. That puts them in a pass status for a duchy. They were in a probation status the prior rain, so they will retain their duchy status. Ravenstone was in a pass status in the prior rain. They're at 22.77, so they'll be in a pass status again as a barony. And then Dark Lodge Crossing was at 9.83. They were they didn't have a status in the prior rain, so they're at a pass status for a Shire. Some of the talk that we've had as a prior board of directors, and I don't know if we've really talked much about it with the current board of directors, is we had some concerns on this with this new COVID stuff, and so my personal suggestion. Well, I first want to point out with Icefire Bay. Icefire Bay was in a review status. They're in a pass status now. They just missed being in that promotion status. The prior rain, they were so not last rain, but the rain before, they were told they were in a pass status. I actually went back and reviewed that one, and they were in a review status. And so they should have actually been able to be promoted last rain. So my suggestion for the board is that we I would like us, since we have this COVID thing with no attendance, mandatory attendance, and we have people that are likely not attending because of this, is that we put a hold on people on parks falling, on being demoted, but allow these parks that are reaching their numbers to be promoted. I would suggest promoting Icefire Bay because of the prior one, if they would like to be promoted, and also promoting Astral Winds to Duchy.
Alrighty then. So from here, at this point, Arian, would you guys like to take the status of barony?
Well, that's all very exciting. That means we could award higher awards, and then I could actually join the BOD. I think that's definitely something that we're interested in, for sure. One that we've been lacking in the past, because we've actually had barony numbers for years, but we haven't had the top 5. So last rain we did have that top 5. Right now we just have a top 4.
Correct. So once we promote you, then you would have to actually go and fill your GMR spot. And as Chris pointed out, Nalarian pointed out, you will have the officer attendance requirements for the meetings. We don't have them for park at the moment, but you still do need to attend the meetings.
Sure, and I am working and poking people and just seeing if there's anybody that can at least attend a meeting once a month. And I got to tell you, the champion GMR meetings are really fun, very informative, and generally doesn't last too long either.
All right, so what I'm hearing is we're going to promote you to now the barony of Icefire Bay.
Holy cow, and I'm here to see it. That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yay, congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, and I'm pretty sure I might know the answer to the next one, but Astral Winds, you guys want to stay at barony, right?
Oh yeah, you know, barony all the way, barony power. We'd love it.
Excellent, no problem then. We will keep you as now the Duchy of Astral Winds. Congratulations, guys.
Woo! Thank you so much.
Okay, so then, as for the third part of Jason's statement is I believe, do we want to make a motion to, Jason, can you say that again for me, please?
So I'd motion to not demote any parks until the pandemic is over.
I definitely second that motion. It's a great idea.
Didn't hit unmute fast enough. Boot, you keep taking the words right out of my mouth.
Okay, so that is the motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, then from top to bottom, Jason Foltz,
Wholeheartedly, yes.
Sean Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
April Hayes Hart,
Yes, ma'am.
Jan Revis.
Yes, I would just put it out there. A later concern is once COVID ends, if we're going to end up demoting parks, if people don't return. But I'm wholeheartedly yes on this right now.
That is a great concern, and we will keep that in the back of my head. Jason Cavanis.
Yes, and I can talk to that in a moment too.
Okay, and since we promoted Icefire Bay, does Arian automatically get added to the board?
I say it'd probably be next meeting.
Next one? Okay, we'll do it next. You're in next one. All right, and then myself is a yes. So with that, you had a little bit more to say, Jason, and then we can wrap this BOD meeting up.
Yeah, on the concerns of the park demotions, it would require going into a probation status and then a demotion afterwards. So it wouldn't be like we'd get to the end of COVID, we go, okay, we're going to turn this back on, and then immediately go, oh look, all these parks failed, and we start demoting them. It would take time for that demotion to happen. So we would want to see like people start coming back. And I get your concern though. If we have like a park going from 30 average members down to like 10, and then wanting to see those numbers come back up again.
All righty. Any other discussion?
Just a thank you that does address my concerns.
All righty then. Do I have a motion to end this meeting?
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Last one, Jason Foltz. Do you agree to adjourn?
Agreed.
Sean Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
April Hayes Hart,
Ma'am.
Jim Revis,
Yes.
Jason Cavanis,
Yes.
and I agree. We are adjourned at 7:29 p.m. Give me a hot second to switch my hat. Alrighty, I have just thrown in the agenda, and welcome to the first COC meeting of Reign 4. Woo! All right. So get going with attendance. Astral Winds. Are you still here?
Present.
Ravenstone.
Present.
Lupin Moon.
Yes, ma'am.
Frozen Coast.
Present.
Icefire Bay.
I'm here.
Dark Lodge Crossing.
Here.
And I am here, your Kingdom Monarch. And in attendance, of course, is our ex officio, Nolarian. Woo! All right. So, first off, we have the ambassador report. So, we all managed to find the one time that Austriana is not available. And so, she was gracefully kind and sent me her ambassador's report. So, I am going to read that now to you. She says, there are several tabled items that are being discussed in the Amtgard Circle of Monarchs Facebook discussion groups. Everyone is encouraged to lurk on the group to stay up to date on discussion there. As discussions occur, they are being forwarded to the Northreach page by herself. She shared, I believe, a couple of them recently. If you see a discussion that has not been forwarded, please let me know. I would like to forward the discussion so I can keep track of them as people comment and gather all the information to report back to the Amtgard International Circle of Monarchs. I look forward to continuing as your ambassador in this reign of Zyogen. Sincerely, Dame Austriana, Ambassador of Northreach.
What a great.
So yeah, so there's a couple of discussions up there that she forwarded regarding, I believe, the annual AI payment and oh gosh, I can't remember what the other one was off the top of my head.
Taking a look.
I do believe it was the one regarding the Amtgard main Facebook page trying to distance themselves.
The one where they want to call themselves Amtgard Community and what that entitles.
Here we go. The other thing is the frequently asked questions, rules clarification drafted from decisions made by GOTC.
So there you go. Yes. So if you have an opinion on any of those topics, I strongly encourage you to go to our Facebook page and let your voice know, and she'll get that back to the Circle of Monarchs. Alrighty, moving on to the next wonderful topic of COVID. Yay! We're still in the middle of a pandemic. Yay! So as most of you are probably aware by now, Anchorage went into this wonderful modified hunker down due to surging cases. And thus, the Lupin Moon officers made the wonderful decision to close the park. This was, due to the new hunker down quote, I'm air quoting, the hunker down mandates that there was put in. And because of that, it was decided that Ravenstone would also be closed. Boo. However, with the thought that Lupin Moon is an easy driving distance to Ravenstone, that was in everyone's best interest. So with that, the good news is that the 7-day trends are actually trending downward. It spiked on July 31st, so the day we were supposed to go into Wolf's Cry, and now they're wonderfully trending downward. So there's some hope. The mayor has stated that if things calm down enough, he might be willing to relax the restrictions sooner than later. So we might be able to get in sometime in August, go out to play again. Of course, we're continuing to monitor the situation, and we're, of course, keeping an eye on our calm outliers, Kenai, Astral Winds, Homer, Juno. So we're all keeping an eye on them to making sure that they don't spike, but they've been all fairly quiet lately. I still want to remind everyone that as we get colder, the thought of going inside is a scary thought, for that is the whole reason why we're in this mess at this moment is people getting in close range of each other without masks. Of course, we're doing the wonderful thing and we were always requiring masks regardless. So that's one of the reasons why we were able to do why we are able to do what we're doing is the fact that regardless of being outdoors, we are enforcing the masks. I know masks suck. They totally suck. So I have to wear one every day, all day long. So, but it's keeping us, allowing us to do what we're doing now. So again, the thoughts about moving indoors is one, we have to find out if we even have a place to go indoors. I know UAA in Anchorage is, I believe, shut down, but Fairbanks might be open and you guys might be able to use the spot. However, we do have to keep in mind, again, the close quarters. We're not sure if the rec house or Abrams house or the Salvation Army, Matsuburo, I encourage all of the monarchs to reach out to their respective places and see if there is even a possibility of going indoors. I know Icefire Bay, you're going to stay outdoors. DLC, you're planning on staying outdoors because you have a warmer climate down in the southeast. So I know I personally am not crazy to go outside, so you all have fun. And everyone moved to Juneau. So yeah, just I'm encouraging all the local monarchs, like I said, to start reaching out to those places and get an idea, because it's getting cold. It's getting cold quick. So does anyone have any comments?
I do, Your Majesty.
Go for it.
So, as Monarch of Blue Moon, I have reached out to 3 different venues. The Salvation Army Gym is not going to be an option, unfortunately. Neither is the Fairview Gym. Both of those are closed for group meetings. They do allow certain amounts of individuals. Blue Moon does break that. The Dome, however, is an expensive option, but they are an option that is willing to work with us as far as being inside. However, I don't know, because of our fundraising things and what has been going on with Northreach, if that is an option that we can have. But at the very least, we are looking at different venues. So we've reached out to a handful.
Excellent. Does anyone else have any comments regarding going inside?
Yeah, I do. Actually, one thing that Hazel's been looking into doing down here in Icefire Bay is the library has remained closed here, and it's an incredible area. They have a wooded area and a big parking lot area that does not get used, and it's well lit, so nobody's just gonna come running through it. And then we have the local grocery store right down there. Though she was gonna check with the library and see if maybe there would be an administrator there that maybe we could just use their bathroom and have a hand sanitizing place before and after, whatever. So we're looking into those options because, I know it's kind of cold, but once you gear up with like some good layers and stuff, and you can have fun with the layers. But we also always encourage people to go for warmth. So if you have a super warm coat that is not Garby, we're not going to hold that against you. And once you get fighting and moving, some of those layers end up coming off, because you end up heating up so fast and stuff. So I know it gets colder up further north you get, but if you have those proper underlayers and overlayers and stuff, you guys could still have a blast and be doing it outside. And then if you find like a big grassy area that's not used in the middle of the night or in the evening or whatever, and you guys meet earlier in the day, so try to catch the sun as much as possible. But if it's close to a big store, then you could use the bathroom facilities there. That's the biggest thing that we think about with outdoor events, is having a place to go. So, but if you get that to work out, then that should be a free space to use. And then you're getting awesome free advertisement, because as people drive by, they see you and they're like, wait, what? So just something to consider.
Yeah, thank you, Arian. Deli, to answer your question, I'm going to speak it because it's faster. So right now, we'll be able to go indoors as long as your facility will allow it, but most likely we will have to still wear masks. And we got to watch those numbers, because if numbers start surging because everyone's hunkered inside, then we're going to have to and nixnay everything. So
I'd also suggest switching to just doing throwies, arrows, and great weapons as far as weapons go, so that people aren't getting that's keeping them at a greater distance, you know.
call lightnings, yes. Okay, so that is our COVID update. Let's moving on. We have, apparently my dog has an opinion still. We're going, upcoming events. Yes. So, of course, we already got to start planning for Dungeon Con or Dungeon Crawl or DC as we're going to call it right now. I did throw up the bid for DC this coming February. So, get your bids in. Hopefully, I'd like to talk about them by the next COC meeting if we can. It's going to take some planning. It does not have to be in Palmer. So if Frozen Coast, you want to take it back, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to put the caveat out there is that this event, like Wolf's Cry, could be canceled. So keep that in mind when you're planning. Make sure you have spoken with wherever you're planning on holding it and check if they require a deposit, check their refund policy, make sure you're not committing. We'd like to be able to get our money back if we have to cancel in the case of COVID. I will be putting out there also the bids for Wolf's Cry 2021, Ren Fair 2021, and the State Fair 2021, even though the State Fair is supposed to happen in like 2 weeks and I'm still a sad panda that I can't do it. But I want to get everything out there and so we can start planning for those. And again, those are all going to have the big asterisk caveats, can be canceled. I'm even saying, yes, we can still potentially cancel Wolf's Cry next year. Hopefully not, but you know, with this day and age, we never know.
So, a question, Your Majesty. Dungeon Crawl being inside a confined space, and with us already having canceled a Wolf's Cry, even though it was to be out in the open, I understand that you would like to take bids with the caveat of it might be canceled. Would it be safe to not particularly waste the time trying to get everything together just to have it canceled, since the pandemic researchers are saying that the COVID things may last for quite a bit longer?
Yeah, I mean, we could go that route. I mean, and then we might, maybe people are like, yeah, maybe we don't want to try this. My thought process is, I mean, I'd like to try if we can. If the numbers are support it and low, and we can get a good venue where we can still spread out if we need to, I'm all for it. But again, I understand the concern.
Can I throw out that for Wolf's Cry, people also camp close to each other regardless if it's outdoors versus Dungeon Con, where it's just an X amount of time period, which I know it's still similar to, but it's also slightly different not living 6 feet away from another person in another tent.
Oh, not much time happens in the tent anyway, but I see what you're saying. Um, so one of my suggestions would be to see if anybody has any creative spins that we could do DC online. Like if we could open up a couple D&D games, like make a special Discord thing for DC that there could be role-playing stuff, there could maybe even be some classes. We can maybe do like a group Minecraft thing that was done for like mid-range, but make it like a game or something. Because there's all sorts of different challenges that could be created in that Minecraft space that people would have to like work through and stuff. So I mean, it is a different platform, but a lot of people that play LARPing also do D&D video games. It just seems like right now is a good time to try and get extra creative and try out some different outlets.
I'm totally on board with it. That's a pretty great idea if we decide not to go the physical route. I know I personally could probably be convinced to stream a decent map using Tabletop Simulator or something for a D&D one shot or so.
That would be awesome. I just, as if the numbers are staying risky and stuff, and it says that the cold does not affect the COVID, and we've seen like most flus usually go away in the summertime, and this one is not. So, as opposed to putting a lot of effort into doing one in person, if we could make that decision early on, and if there was somebody ambitious out there to like pull all of that together, to contact different people like you, dear Boots, that would be interested in DMing a game and or doing a Minecraft thing, or because it doesn't have to be one person doing all of these things. It's all about finding the right people who want to do those things.
Yeah, even that could be a bid. So yeah, definitely something to think about. Alrighty, is there any questions, concerns, statements? No burgers tonight, I'm sorry.
Why did we even vote for you? There's no burgers?
Well then. Then I will call this meeting to end at 7:48 p.m. Look at that, under an hour, Nalarian. Ha!
Well done, Your Majesty.
It's a sign of
Well
good